Good morning. Don't do it. This is morning drop off look, okay? Um, my lash was bothering me, so I took it off. That's not what we're here for. Focus. Focus. Okay. I have I have been trying to make these videos, these documentary videos about my relationship with my guy and how God has like just moved in a way that only he can move. And so I'm gonna be all over the place, and I think I'm going backwards. I think I'm starting from here, there, whatever. But I want to tell you the most recent thing that has happened. By the time you guys see everything, it will be chronologically in order. Um, Last night we talked about looking for apartments together and what that looks like after we get married. Me selling my house and us, either buying a home or having one built, but just having a plan for after we get married to where we need to live, um, what that looks like, what is important for us. I'm like, I have a son. He likes to play around, so we need something that's like a townhome or a condo so that there's nobody underneath him. Just moving into the planning phase of what is our reality. And for my guy, by the time you guys see this, he will either be my fiance or my husband. Um, the fact that he's willing to have those conversations, I see God's hand on his perception and his process. Like everybody has a different process, right? So what somebody might think is too soon to talk about, or they rather do it like this, or this. Sometimes the planning is like this, right? But when you get done with it, it will line up. And so before, he was more so like this. He wants to do this, get this done before we think about this, before we talk about this. And for me, for most women, that's kind of hard if you won't even allow us the space to process or to think or to plan, because that's what we do. We plan. And so it was kind of hard because I'm like, yo, I have to move out of state. I have to sell my house. I have to figure out school. Are we moving in the middle of the year? Are we not? Like, I need you to be able to have these conversations with me so that I can get the ball rolling on my end. Not to put pressure on you, but so that I could implement a plan, have structure within that plan, so that when it's time to execute it, I can run it off. And yesterday, he gave me the go ahead to like start looking for apartments and start the process, because he told me he was going to. And I was like, okay, so do you need help? And he was like, absolutely. Oh, then we talked a little more about some stuff. So yeah, I'm just waiting on you to tell me when I can do this, and that, so I can start this, and that. He said, start now. I said, okay, okay, husband. I'm saying all that to say this. Um, Sometimes as women, we want to push the envelope and we want to make a man see things how we want to make him see it like us, see it when we see it. And a lot of times, because the man is the executor of the plan and you are the person who makes the plan, or you guys make it together, but because he's out in the forefront, because it's things that he has to do. And like I said, God caused it, the way he explained it to me was, the man sees the landmark, the woman sees the plan. Like, the woman takes the word. The word is what gets you to start planning. The landmark is where the word gets you to. So all he knows is that we have to be at this certain place, right? And he's just focused on getting there. The woman has the plan, or the word of God, that carries us through to get us to there. So when we get there, when we get to the landmark that he's worked so hard to get us at, we have everything planned so that everything runs smoothly once we get there. Right? When we go in and possess, it's made easy because the woman, me, I have spent the time to plan based off the word God told me. God said it's going to be this, and this. God told you, go there. We get there. What I know, the this, and this, and what I plan for is what is going to help establish us and carry us. Because as I'm living us out this thing, planning out, developing, whatever you want to call it, you're already focused on the next landmark. So I was grateful to God that God turned his head from just the landmark, but to understanding that there has to be a process, to understanding that there has to be a planning phase. And I can start planning now. I have things that I can do. And the most important thing was not that I didn't press him. Excuse me. I didn't press him. I told him how I felt about it, and then I gave it to God and I prayed about it. A lot of times we forget that in these relationships, we need to put God first. We need to make him handle the situation. It is not my job to force this man to believe what I believe. It is my job to give it to him, right? Tell him how I feel about it and let him be the head about it. And while he's figuring it out and God is speaking to him, I'm speaking to God. So I get to start planning. I found a few places. I dropped the bug in the ear about just, why don't we just look how much we can get for buying a house? And, you know, what that looks like. How the sale of my house will contribute to the down payment, or just, you know, other things dealing with our house, the new house we're going to get. So I'm excited. So yesterday was September 4th. And September 4th, 2024. And we are now in a positive roll towards looking for something together so that we get married, and then I get to go home. I get to go home to my man. I get to go home to my man. I don't want to be married and be somewhere else. And, you know, we are in 2 different states, so there is a transition. And there might be a period of like a month or so where we're not actually living together, so that I could tie this up out here. Or not, you know, God might just move us while I'm in the process of selling this house, and I don't have to be here. I don't have to be present. They can fax over or mail over or email over things that I need to sign electronically, and it'll be taken care of without me ever being in Georgia. So when you wait on God, it works out. When you put it in his hands, when it's a little bumpy, he'll smooth it out. Just trust God. Trust that when you meet the person that God has for you, no matter if it's in 2 different states or not, 2 different countries or not, that if it is God, he will make it easy. He will do it. Easy don't mean without bumps. Easy just means it's not going to be hectic. It's not going to be all over the place. And I can say that because when I moved here, he made my transition easy. I came here to visit. I was here for 3 days. And when I left Georgia, I had an apartment and a job. So, and it was not planned. I was coming just to visit my aunt, and God had other plans, and he lined things up and he put it in place. And then he dropped it in my spirit what to do and what to say. Went to HR and said, hey, do we have any warehouses in Georgia I'm going to visit? Wasn't really thinking about moving for real. So when you trust God, the desires of your heart, if they're aligned with him as they should be, you will begin to spill over and pour out what is in your heart that he placed there, and it's in alignment, and that's what he will make easy. So I get to start looking for apartments, condos, whatever, and then get to start looking for houses. You excited, girl? You excited, sir? I am.